I think you are definitely sleeping on this show. It's got some more twists and turns and is cranking up the heat. Episode 4. The team grieves the loss of the Afro Boy. Of course, Baldy tells Ben thanks for often the man who did it. Rafe gets a package and he talks to his dad's friend. He wants to know who he's working for and wants to know what Baldy is up to. That makes way more sense because, you just gotta know who you're working for. You can't just turn a blind eye and be like, I don't know what we're doing, but I think it's good. Turns out he's very motivated against the Iranis because the friends he knew went bye-bye turn it off at an embassy. The Mochas are partying, having a good time at his son's born day with this minister dude. The Mochas talk about all their work and how the nuclear weapons won't be in the wrong hands. They find out the third party is this Halid network, some sort of black market group. They devise a plan to hit the convoy that have the real bearings for the nuclear bomb, and then swap them with the fake ones to fumble their damn plans. Rafe questions who the source is, called the Shepherd, and it turns out it's someone on the inside. Baldy Boy knows Rafe has been looking him up, and he questions his Shepherd dude. Baldy Boy tells him that he's reliable and has worked with him many times in the past 20 years. So it should be good, right? Maybe. You never know. Some people can be good for a bit, and then sometimes they're just like, nah, screw you. Of course, Ben and the masculine chick are working together to do some recon and slip it in. Ben opens the door simply instead of having her pick the lock because she never checked if it was opened or not. And then they're doing some more recon to see what their escape routes are like. They find out somebody is coming and then she goes to pick the lock and then she just decides to kiss Ben. You just know she wants it badly. Or does she just know how to manipulate a man very well? Well, you never know, because chicks are really good at that. They seem to be really good at manipulating dudes really easily. Because dudes are pretty easy overall. They're just like, oh, she likes me. Yeah, cool. Rafe and this tech chick chatted up and she meets her asset and this line comes up.
You look like a banker.
You look like an operator.
And you just know it's true. At least the writing is very self-aware. It just knows what it is and that's it. They're picking up the bearings that don't spin as fast. Rafe questions how he did this in a few days. And of course this homie doesn't answer him. You just know something is not right at all. And I think Rafe was picking up on this. The team is prepping and Mo and CIA dude are cracking jokes. Glad to see this team is working so well with one another. Then Rafe just clues into what's going on with Ben and the masculine chick, because obviously they want to get it on. I don't know how Rafe became the most interesting character in this show. I just felt like it was weird that they didn't focus more so on Ben. It just seems very strange to me. And since this is really supposed to be a show about Ben, he just seems like he's completely sidelined. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Did these writers know exactly what they were doing? Or where they wanted to take the show? Because I thought the show was going to be more about Ben. In some capacity, it feels like it's more about Rafe in a way. They finalized the plan to hit the convoy in the tunnel, and then it seems like Rafe is the only one who's questioning anything. But Ben is choosing 304s before bros, and he's piss cutting wood. And you'd think brothers would have each other's backs, but maybe not Ben. They both have disagreements, and Homie is right by saying,
You're thinking with the wrong head, my friend.
Homie is just awesome. He's very likable, and he just gets it. But for some reason, Ben isn't as likable as him, which I just don't get. Why wouldn't you just make your main character one of the most likable characters? Or is it to just dislike him? It just doesn't make any sense. So, come on, guys. Have some focus here. Make both of them likable characters. But Rafe is just right, because you always gotta choose bros before hoes. And then they compete each other cutting wood. And that shit is great. And then cue the montage of the team prepping to hit this convoy. Then CIA boy has a surprise for Tech Girl. It's a gun, yay! And then I was like, where's the silencers here? I was missing that. Then he shows her how to hold it, and then he gets real close to her. But she's like, nah. She's like, get off of me, you creep. And he just wants to slip it in, but he's denied. Maybe not the best move in my opinion. Maybe just move a little bit slower or see if she actually likes you or not. And then if not, move on and slip it in somewhere else. Then of course you got the masculine chick that went a little cray-cray, of course. One thing I did find is, yeah, it may be hard to control your little head with an attractive woman in a team like this. I will say, men get really weird around chicks at times, and they start to lack focus. Rafe here is the only one who makes sense of any of this. He's the only one with the clear mind. And then Ben, thinking with his little head, has to meet up the masculine chick and wants a word with CIA boy, but they need him for the convoy. And this chick just knew exactly what she was doing, caressing the shit out of him. I'm like, just friend zone him. Or just friend zone each other instead of possibly fucking up the mission. So you just know Rafe knew what he was talking about.
You're thinking with the wrong head, my friend.
The plan is in motion to hit the convoy, and homie turns off his favorite song. And how could you do that? You're just enjoying his time and enjoying the beats before possibly going bye-bye, turn it off. They then hit the tunnel and the silencers are back, and they're way too damn cool. This convoy got the bye-bye, turn it off. They get the case with a nice transition. I really like the editing in here. It was very raw and it really let the image do the talking instead of doing all these quick cuts to everything. They did a really good job with that. It made it feel very smooth and congruent, you know? Baldy Boy made Professor Dude go bye-bye, turn it off, and makes it look like he deliberately went bye-bye, turn it off. What a nice guy. Then out of the blue they get hit with an RPG after the convoy hit was an absolute success. And then we get some more silencing action. And this shit was cool. It's very interesting because all you're thinking in your mind is, obviously someone else knew about this. And now it becomes way more interesting. Like, who tipped these guys off, or is there another plan? Things got way more interesting in here. Then Mocha Boy got hit real good, and then a civilian got the old bye-bye, turn it off. You could definitely tell Ben got really pissed again. And we got some nice MP5 action up in here, and it was great. And I did really like how the camera movements were. Very slow in a way, but very realistic as well. You could just tell it had this realistic vibe as they were just pushing into the tunnel and backing up and going for cover. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this. And it gives it that more raw feeling. So I don't know if they really thought of that or making it seem like it's a little more realistic. To me, it was a great illusion. Then also out of the blue, masculine chick gives Ben the whole bye-bye, good night. And I was like, what the shit? This is a great twist. Then she takes the bearings for herself, so who knows who set this all up? We don't really know now. And they just left it at the end of that. I was like, dude, where was this the other 3 episodes? This is what we needed. We needed some twists and turns right away, and it made it so much better. It also turns out that that tech chick tapped Baldy Boy's phone and was like, wow, these chicks were really up to no good and manipulated the shit out of the team. All I was thinking was, damn, this is some Modern Warfare 2 vibes again. But at least they didn't go bye-bye, turn it off, which was nice. At least they did that. They're like, hey, I'm sorry, buddy, pew pew, pew pew pew. So it was just a double cross as far as we know, and these Israelis want them bearings badly, it seems. This was a bit of a slow start to this episode, but it gets so much better as it progresses. And the twist at the end is what I'm talking about. And Rafe was so right about everything. Homie just knew what was up and knew somebody was cooking something. So at least we know Rafe is a good guy. That's what matters. And clearly Ben is too, but he might be a little bit too loony. Really glad the ending had a little more focus on the action after all the drama shit going on, but obviously you had to do that to build up to get to this moment. You just knew this masculine chick was cooking something. You just knew she was caressing the shit out of him for something. They just know how to manipulate them men, don't they? I do think people are just sleeping on this show. It got so much more interesting as it progressed. And I do think it is one of the better shows this year. And I don't really have too much to say that's really bad about it. It's still very engaging. The only thing that's really unfortunate is it doesn't focus more so on Ben's character. And I'm starting to realize that Rafe is just completely outshining Ben in every way. He's just way more likable, and he doesn't think with his little head. You gotta subscribe to watch more videos with Baldy Boy here.